Aquarius, welcome. This is a really great time at the end of October to perhaps focus on your career or social standing in the world. You have a lot of drive and energy right now to achieve the things that you really want to. And if you're going to do it, now would be the time to do it. Okay. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to show up in the way that you want, whether that's you wanting to go for some kind of managerial position or you wanting to climb the ladder in your career. You definitely have the energy for it right now. You want to maybe get out of the house or go on a family trip. I think a good time to do it as well. This is a great time to maybe focus on hiring some help, maybe for the home. Maybe you're wanting to speak to a financial advisor. Maybe you're wanting to focus on your financial habits and your spending. This could be a really great time if you have like a at-home business to spruce up your office. This can be a really, really great time to go and work out and get the gains that you want or the losses that you desire, I guess you could say. And this is a really good time to try to break out of your shell a little bit, be a little bit more self expressive, and have a good time. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. If you are new here, my name is Violetta Alexis, and I've been a tarot reader for 5 years. If you're not new here, then welcome back. Obviously, happy to have you. Let's go ahead and get right into your reading. Show me Aquarius for late October 2025. Okay, so we have the Five of Cups. All right, so you can be thinking a lot about the past. Let's see. We also have the Five of Swords reversed, Page of Cups reversed. We have the King of Wands reversed, the Wheel of Fortune, Sun reversed, the Page of Pentacles reversed, Four Swords in the upright, and the Two in the upright. Bottom of the deck is the Five of Wands. There can be some kind of drama. I'm almost getting it's like in a public way of some sort, or maybe with someone who's in the public sphere. I'm not really sure why I'm getting that. The first oracle card that we have for the first row is communication. The second oracle card that we have for the second row is Taurus energy. And then the third says higher wisdom, explore options, learn what you can, and expand your horizons. Okay, so I like it. I'm not mad about it. So, for this first row here where it says communication is key, I think that you're kind of regretting something. Like you're thinking a lot about the past and you're like, God damn, like I really wish I wouldn't have done that. It can be where maybe you put yourself out there and you feel like you kind of struck out in regards to love, maybe, especially with that Page of Cups reverse. You can be feeling a little bit victimized or even potentially manipulated in a situation. I think it's really important for you guys to make sure that you're communicating what your expectations are in regards to love, because I think that there was something you feel like you kind of failed at in that department in the past. And so it's really important to take the knowledge that you acquired from whatever that is and implement it now in late October so that doesn't happen again. For the middle row, Taurus, King of Wands reversed, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Sun reversed. So, Taurus is about our self esteem and our self worth and our self value. And Taurus is ruled by Venus. Okay. Venus is in her dignity in Libra at the end of October. So it's really positive. I think it's important for you to um, maybe think about what it is that you value in relationships. Maybe you're putting your value in the wrong thing. Okay. So maybe, for instance, you are, let's say that you value a very deep relationship. Okay. You actually want somebody with depth, but maybe instead you keep picking people that are a little bit more superficial. Maybe you're just kind of looking at the outside. Maybe it's to feed your ego or whatever the case is. Okay. So it can be asking you to think higher minded in regards to what it is that you actually want in relationships. Okay. Now, of course, it doesn't necessarily have to be about a relationship, but it can be about you and the relationship that you have with yourself and where you feel like your value is in regards to you. And it may be asking you to disconnect from the superficiality from within. Okay. So maybe you feel like you have to be exceptionally beautiful all the time in order to be valued. And it's like, no, that's just your ego talking. And I think that really the ego is just the armor for the insecurity, right? And we all have it. Okay. And the ego can be a beautiful thing. It depends on how we use it, right? As opposed to, yes. Now, for others of you, there can be like a masculine energy in your life. If you're a woman, you're interested in masculine energy. There can be a masculine here who's like, you know, they're in their ego all the time. They're prideful. It's just like exhausting. Okay. And so you may need to see something from a higher perspective. Like maybe they're really hot, but you're like, hey, is this like really what I want? Like, honestly, in the grand scheme of things, or am I trying to force something that really shouldn't be forced? Because I know it's really not. The last one with the higher wisdom card, we have the Page of Pentacles reverse, the Four of Swords, and the Two of Swords. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles reverse can sometimes be where we're not putting in an effort towards something. And sometimes it means that we're not supposed to. But that Four of Swords is telling me that you're thinking a lot about things. There may be something or someone that you're potentially healing from. Again, there's something about you not ignoring what it is that you've learned and you actually applying that. So that way, something that you don't want to happen that's happened in the past doesn't happen again. So let's go ahead and clarify. Let's see that Five of Cups. Yeah, Three of Swords reverse. I think that you're not like over something. You haven't totally overcome something, right? I have a lot of fixed energy myself. So, I get about like holding on to things. And so you can be finding it hard to be able to forgive, maybe forget even. And so it may be asking you like it's okay to like reach out and communicate if you need to, or maybe you don't need to reach out to this person. Maybe they were an abuser. I don't know. Maybe you need to talk to a friend. You can be needing to speak to some kind of therapist. And I think that you're going to find that during this time, especially if like you're in Aquarius rising, right? And you have Chiron transiting your third house, it's going to be a great time for you to kind of flush out those wounds through communication. Okay. So don't be afraid to assert yourself. Don't be afraid that somebody is going to reject you, or something is going to reject you because you implement some kind of boundary or you communicate what your needs are. It's okay to have needs, or it's okay to decide to communicate a boundary, or decide to communicate like, hey, this made me feel like shit, or whatever. It's okay to do that. Maybe you just need to journal it out, whatever it is. There are other ways that you can deal with this instead of just kind of like hanging on to what didn't work out, and make it work for you. And we have this, oh my God, Five of Cups again. We have the Five of Swords reverse and the Five of Cups. You're in this mind frame where you feel like you just keep striking out. I know this sounds really negative, but I'm really sorry. But I don't want to like make up a story or tell you some BS, right? I don't want to be one of those unicorn arts, glittery tarot readers. I just want to be real with you. So you may kind of get to this point where you're like, damn, like no matter what I do, I just keep striking out. I just keep losing. I'm such a loser. I really want you to be cautious of like the way that you're thinking about things. I think that something that you went through was very disheartening, maybe even felt disempowering in some way. But if you're able to transmute that into something that can work for you, that's why like you see a lot of people who in the gym, like ask like anybody at the gym. I bet like 8 out of 10 people will be like, oh, I'm here because I went through a breakup, right? Like that's a transmutation of energy. So I feel like there's something that you can do in regards to that. Then we have this Page of Cups reversed and the Eight of Wands reversed. Do not hold this stuff in. As fixed signs, we tend to push things down, or we tend to just say, oh well, I'll just deal with it, I'll just deal with it. And like honestly, like I'm gonna bare my soul here, I did this, okay, and I did this for a long time until I had a nervous breakdown to the point my whole body was shaking, I couldn't breathe, like, and I know that sounds really dramatic, but like I hold things in for a really long time. It is so important to get those things out. Okay. So if you do need to talk somebody, if you do need to talk to somebody, if you do need to journal something, transmute that energy to the best of your ability. Okay. So let's go ahead and get a guided message for that particular row. We have the Knight of Swords. So this is Gemini once again. This is all about communication. I feel like for some of you, you're assuming something that is not true. Okay. And it's something that's like very heartbreaking for you. But to be honest with you, you're doing it to yourself. And I only say that because there's a piece of information that you think that you know, but you don't. Okay, I'm not saying that you don't have like a lot of the facts, but there's one piece of information that you're missing and you're assuming. And so it's making you feel worse. So for instance, it could be maybe someone um ghosted you, okay? And you're like, "Oh God, I'm such a loser. I'm so ugly. Like nobody's ever gonna love me." Whatever, however you're thinking about it, right? But then like you find out that like one of their parents died or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I don't think that I think you have a lot of information and I think that your emotions are valid, but there's a piece of the puzzle that you're missing that's making you feel worse than you actually need to feel. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to communicate. Okay. even if it hurts. So let's go ahead and take a look at this row here. Tell me about that King of Wands reverse, the Fool. Okay. So if you are this King of Wands reverse, and you've been feeling maybe not so confident within yourself, maybe that's what it is. You don't feel so confident. I think that it's really about asking yourself what truly makes you confident. Like, and I'm not talking about, oh, when I get my eyebrows done or, when I curl my hair. Those are all great things, but those are more for the ego, right? For instance, me, when I write, okay, when I write something, I'm a writer, I love to write. When I write something that I'm proud of, that comes from here, damn, I can't be stopped. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what is that thing for you? Ask what that thing is for you. And I think you'll be a lot happier. It's going to help you break free of a certain way of thinking. And it's going to help you value yourself a little bit more because there's a lot more to you than I think you give credit to yourself for. So something to keep in mind. For others of you, I feel like you might be ditching somebody. If I'm going to be honest, if this King of Wands reverse is not you, there can be somebody here who is like trying to humble you, or they're trying to project their insecurities onto you, and you're just like, okay, like thanks. It's like you're not moving forward with any kind of animosity. I think you're just like moving on. That especially with that Wheel of Fortune, which yeah, Three of Pentacles. Ooh, really? Work looks really good. Work looks really good. I think here that you are becoming some kind of maybe guide or mentor, maybe. There may be people who look up to you in regards to your work. Maybe you're teaching something. For others of you, this can be a very, very fortuitous collaboration that you have coming in that maybe you did not expect. And I think that it can really upend your career or your reputation in some way that is going to make you loved by people. And you have to understand that the Wheel of Fortune is incredibly fortuitous. It's like very, very positive. It's movement forward. It's like we're letting go of control. We're happy. It's good things. It's the same energy as Jupiter, which is the greater benefic in astrology. So, if a collaboration does come in, go ahead and take it. Okay. Then we have the Sun reversed with the Queen of Pentacles. So, I think that you may not be so confident, maybe in regards to your finances or maybe in a relationship as well, but this feels more like financial. But you're still keeping the optimism. Like you keep putting yourself out there, you keep doing what it is that you need to do for work. And I think that even though you may be, I'm almost getting the word like skeptical, you may feel a little skeptical about something, you're still keeping the faith, you're still keeping the optimism. And I think that you should, especially because Taurus, which can talk about finances, it can talk about your self worth and your self esteem. You need to trust yourself. I think that you need to trust yourself and that you have this under control, I guess you could say. So let's go ahead and see that Taurus energy. What's the guidance for this row, please? The Two of Cups. Yeah, so don't be afraid to connect with people, collaboration, things of that nature. Don't be afraid to let people in a little bit, right? It doesn't mean don't have discernment. It doesn't mean, like be an idiot or whatever about relationships and, fall into limerence or anything like that. But it is saying that it's going to be your connections this month that are going to bring you that sense of optimism, that are going to bring you maybe a more optimistic way of thinking about your money, thinking about life. I feel like your values are going to get a little bit of a shift late October. Okay, so I'm not mad at it. So now let's see this row where it says higher wisdom, explore options, learn what you can, and expand horizons. So let's see what's up with that Page of Pentacles first. The Moon reverse. Okay, I heard I don't want to work anymore. Okay, literally freaking that's a vibe. Okay, some of you that may be it. But others of you, it kind of makes me feel like there's something that you're realizing in regards to the work that you're putting into something. It almost feels like you're getting ready to change the way that you're working on something. I'm actually going to pull one more for that. Page of Pentacles reversed again. Whoa. Okay, expand your horizon. You're bored. it feels like you're bored and you're like realizing, I don't want to do this anymore. Like you're really bored with something. You don't want to put an effort towards a certain avenue anymore, maybe towards a certain person, whatever it is. Like you just don't want to do it anymore. And like this is something that, remember when I was talking about you suppressing things? Like you're not suppressing that feeling anymore. You're like, I don't want to do this. Hello? Like I don't want to do this anymore. And so because of that realization, I think that you're dropping something. And being that this card talks about exploring your options, I think that's exactly what you're doing. What is this in regards to? The Five of Wands reverse. Something that, well, that was at the bottom of the deck, if you remember that Five of Wands, wasn't it? I think that was you. That was at the bottom of the deck. But there may be like a situation where there's too much ego, too much like drama or something like that. And you're just like, I don't even want to do that anymore. You know, and it may be something that you really like kept quiet about, or you didn't really make a change, you just kept kind of giving to it, and you're like, yeah, I'm not. And I think that something's going to be revealed to you about this specifically that's going to give you some clarity. And I think it's positive. Tell me about that Four of Swords, Seven of Swords. Yeah, you're moving in silence. You're like, it almost feels like you're on the lam. Like you're escaping from something. You're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Because like your days of like feeling pain, maybe accepting less than what you're worth, or putting effort into situations that you feel like really isn't doing anything for you, like that's done. You're like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm not doing that anymore. And so because of that, you're able to give yourself the space and the time to heal and to be able to think about like, well, what do I want to do? Right. And so I think you're just kind of like keeping your space from the thing that you feel like is draining you. Okay. And so there's a lot of healing going into this, which is really, really positive. We'll see what that Two of Swords is. Yeah, no thanks. Nope. You're not putting in the effort towards something anymore. No, I'm good. Thank you so much. Like that's pretty much where you're at. So I can't be mad at it. Ugh, Aquarius, I love you so much. You guys are like, I love Aquarius friends. Like they're the absolute best. Aquarius was actually my longest relationship of my life. Let's see this. What is the guidance for this, please? The Six of Cups reversed. It almost feels like something's been keeping you back, like holding you hostage. And it's something that you're stuck on, or it's someone that you've been stuck on for a while that you may have held a grudge towards. And you're like, I'm not going to do that anymore. Because if you remember, when we're like looking up here, you're like, you're sad. And like the Five of Cups, showed up twice. And it's like the Five of Swords, 555. That may be relevant to you, by the way. Like it was just like, pull out the tiny violin, right? And we've all had those big moments. Like I definitely had that in September. I was like, yeah, pull out the tiny violin. And so I feel like you guys are now, it's kind of asking you to like go in grace, which I know is really corny, but it's asking you to go in grace with something. We get one more for that. Guidance. Yeah, like let it go, again, like something that's not fulfilling, something that feels very draining for you. It's time to let it go. Because I feel well, I don't feel, I know that your energy can be placed somewhere else where it would actually be reciprocated or appreciated, or you would get more bang for your buck, or whatever it is. So something to kind of keep in mind with that. But ultimately, really good reading, of course. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you will like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on my website at www.violettaalexis.com. If you would like to book a scheduled session with me, or text and or call spontaneously, you can do so at hipsy.com/violettaalexis. All of that information can be found in the description box below or in the pinned comment in the chat. Thanks a lot, you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great mid-October.